When did you start to really dive deep into the collectibles game?
First up, thanks for having me. Got into the collectibles game very early on, New York sports, and then when I started getting into the real fun stuff during the pandemic.
I feel like you dive deeper than just sports. When you say the real fun stuff, you've now unlocked like a completely different box.
Yeah, how I define real fun stuff is museum quality assets. So everything from signatures and documents from the first presidents, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln in particular, dinosaur fossils from 100 million years plus, Type 1 photos of the Titanic being constructed, things that could actually be in a museum. That's how I define the real fun stuff.
Buster, I wish you could have seen the look on Brockman's face when you said museum quality assets, and he just was like, oh, okay, this is serious.
I was like,
now.
We're going to the next level here. Buster.
Yeah, this is the fun stuff. That's what Buster was right. He prefaced it well. When it comes to sports fun stuff, what's some of the fun stuff you've crossed paths with in the world of sports collectibles? It's kind of next level.
The stuff that you see making the headlines are the top rookie cards. So let's say a one-of-one Giannis National Treasures logo man that has a fun story behind it about how the person who originally bought it had a stain on the card. They paid a couple $1,000. Then they returned it for, I think it was $3,000 that they paid. That card recently sold for a few million, but they returned it because it had a small stain, which, because it's a one-of-one, long-term didn't end up affecting the value. In the sports world, I think tickets are fun, especially to, games where people wouldn't have kept them. So let's say Michael Jordan hits a game winner at an opposing arena. Everybody would have thrown their tickets away because they weren't happy that the Bulls won. They were pissed off, so they threw that stuff out. Therefore, the populations of those sorts of tickets are super low. Those are the sorts of stories that really get me going.
I love it. Buster Scher joining the show, host of The Buster Show. Ben Lyons in for Rich on The Rich Eisen Show. We were talking about Tiger Woods walking off of the 18th hole at St. Andrews this morning, and he's saying goodbye to the fans, and his hat is in his hand, and I'm thinking, I wonder what Buster would pay for that hat. When you look at sports now, do you look at moments? You mentioned Jason Tatum scoring the final basket of Game 1 this year in the first round of the playoffs. How much is his jersey worth? Are you looking at sports through that lens?
Yeah, that's the lens that I watch sports through now. It's sort of impossible to turn that brain off once you see it. Every NBA game that's played, I'm friendly with the guys who have an auction partnership with the NBA. Most of the jerseys go directly to them and then get auctioned off. Players aren't even really allowed to keep their jerseys for the most part. So when I'm watching an NBA game, I'm like, oh, okay, that's, a couple $100,000 every quarter, even in a regular season game that people are willing to pay. Every jersey LeBron puts on is six figures automatically. That sort of stuff is crazy. And then when you get to big moments, the ancillary stuff is crazy. It really is.